China's State Council has approved a proposal to invest 4 trillion yuan through to the year 2010 to help boost domestic demand.
The policy not only focuses on expanding investment, but also optimizing the economic structure and improving people's livelihood. These projects include guaranteed housing projects for low-income residents, healthcare development and educational undertakings, and increasing people's incomes.
A missing piece of China's economic stability is a lack of key natural resources.
China National Petroleum Corporation and the National Iranian Oil Company signed a $1.7 billion deal on Wednesday.
China is looking for new opportunities in Sudan. China has a 40% stake in the oil industry here. It's embarked on joint ventures with the Sudanese government, like this huge oil refinery.
Now, Iraqi oil minister Hussein al-Sharistani was joined by Chinese officials to inaugurate a $3 billion oil project with the Chinese National Petroleum Company.
Snaking through the outback, trains laden with iron ore for China. This is Australia's remote Pilbara region. Here the global financial crisis is hitting hard. China sees this as an opportunity. Mining companies for sale at dirt cheap prices.
Russia will host the first summit of the world's key growing economies on Tuesday. The formal debut of the BRIC, which comprises of Brazil, Russia, India and China as a bloc, is emerging as a stabilizer for beleaguered Western economies.
Developed economies need money. The world's fastest developing economies have it. The four nations have so far been seen as little more than a common interests club. But the time may be right for BRIC to become one of the building blocks of the global economy as it emerges from the downturn.
The BRIC has the punch to go for a financial knockout. Consider this. Together, the four BRIC nations have a 15% slice of the world economic pie. But they have 40% of its hard currency reserves.
The four countries expressed discomfort with Washington's financial stewardship.
We'll be witnessing the emergence of a new supranational currency used for international settlements.
Russia and China are some of the biggest holders of the dollar outside the U.S., and they both seek to lessen their reliance on the currency.
I'm very worried, and I want to send this message to the United States. I hope the country will honor its words, maintain its credibility, and ensure the safety of Chinese assets.
Why the frustration? China, for example, has invested in U.S. dollars for years, and American consumers bought Chinese-made goods. But with the financial meltdown, the U.S. may have to print more money, which could cause inflation and lower the value of China's dollar holdings. And now, emerging nations are cutting trade and financial deals with one thing in common: the dollar need not apply, as Argentina's Todo Noticias showed.
Argentina's government has reached a deal with China that will allow it to pay for exports directly in yuan to protect its currency in economic crisis. China and Argentina signed an exchange agreement worth 70 billion yuan. Thanks to the agreement, Argentina won't have to pay for Chinese exports in dollars, a currency in which most international commerce is conducted in.
Obama was characterized as a supplicant kowtowing to his benefactors by broadcasters at the start of his trip.
China is America's largest creditor, leading President Obama to tread carefully during his first trip to the region.
Mr. Obama goes to Beijing more on the role of an extravagant borrower visiting his rather nervous banker.
Because it is hard to talk tough on trade, Taiwan, and Tibet when you're sitting across the table from your biggest lender.
In reviewing Chinese coverage of the visit, one thing stood out: that China is merely asserting its equality with the U.S. CCTV framed President Obama and President Hu as equal leaders and boasted of China's influence.
China, being the largest holder of U.S. debt and one of the only nations that has not been severely affected by the global economic downturn, is a country that Washington increasingly looks to for cooperation. They represent the interests of the world's largest developing and developed nations.